When I got up this morning, I sure was feeling bad. When I got up this morning, I sure was feeling bad. I couldn't do a thing but wash my face in.
Mr. Tony, you come from a long line of Georgia blues.
That is correct.
I don't know where to start. Should I start with Cora May, Curly Weaver, Savannah Dip Weaver?
What?
Where should we start?
I think we should start with Savannah Dip Weaver.
Okay, let's start right there. Now, would you say she is the foundation of this musical lineage?
That is correct. On the Curly Weaver Piedmont style playing of blues, and when Curly Weaver was coming up as a kid, his mother used to play the guitar, and local people like Barbecue Bob and several more people used to come by, and that's where they basically learned their style from.
Now, this is from Savannah Dip Weaver, yes?
That is correct.
Okay, now, for the audience who does not know, what is her relationship to you, and what is Curly Weaver's relationship to you?
Savannah Dip Weaver is my great-grandmother, and Curly Weaver is my grandfather.
Wow. And you're a blues musician. If you guys don't know, this is not just lineage in terms of, because we've had people on the show that are relatives or long-lost relatives of early blues legends, but you're also a blues musician.
That is correct. That's what I do. That's part of my life. That's where I come from.
That's right. And if I'm not mistaken, you are quoted saying blues being tradition and heritage, and you're very into the roots of the blues.
That is correct, because a lot of people, they start to get blues mixed up with different other music, and I think that's where the problem lies, because the blues have its own sound.
Mm.
It has its own style. And that's what a lot of people failing to realize. That's what blues is. The blues is a man that plays his guitar. He plays his own thing. He plays the blues.
That's right.
And the blues is only really played a certain way. And the blues only have a certain sound, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I dig it. Now, if there were words to describe this particular sound of the blues, what would they be?
Low down and dirty.
I dig it. Now, wait, let's go back to one more person. Cora May Bryant. Please share who she is and who she is to you.
Cora May Bryant is my mother. She was my everything. Now, you talk about the blues. When you talk about Cora May, you talk about a whole history. She was the blues.
Mm.
And she came in contact with a lot of blues musicians, and as a kid, that's all was in my house, was guitars and drums. That was every day, almost every night.
Mm.
It was always somebody there, and they was always playing the blues, and if you couldn't play the blues, you could not play at our house. It was like that. It was a certain way. This was a lot of guys just come by, and they want to play, and they want to do that, and the blues only sounds a certain way.
That's right. No getting around it.
Ain't no getting around it. Some people think they can get around it, but, you cannot get around it, because the blues, the blues is something else. See, the blues come from a long ways. The blues come from a long ways.
Mm-hmm.
It was times when no white culture wanted to hear the blues. They didn't know anything about it. Nothing racist. I love all people, so let's get that straight. I don't want nobody to get it, twisted. But
right.
The blues, it's come from a long ways. It come from a mighty long way. They don't call it the dirty low-down blues for nothing.
So, but no, it's the truth. But so, with that being said, and also, the statement you made, because I find myself having to give a disclaimer when I'm speaking the tradition, the heritage, and the ownership, the birthright of the blues. Why do black people have to give a disclaimer and it's our tradition and heritage?
Wow, that's a who now. I mean, should I really answer that question truthfully? I mean, because there's a lot of history there. The reason you're having to do that.
Right.
I mean, people know that. I mean, whoever tells you different, they already know deep down inside. But some, it's just like that. You should never have to explain anything about the blues to no culture, unless it's your own culture,
Right.
But another culture, you should never have to explain anything about the blues, because number one, they are students of the blues, and they're failing to realize that.
Mm.
You're not a bluesman. You're a student of the blues.
Mm.
The blues come from one particular kind of people, and those was Negroes, they called. That's where the blues come from. And now you have different cultures saying, hey, I'm a bluesman. No, you're a student of the blues.
Wow.
That's a problem that I have, but when you start to address the problem, you become racist. People pull the race card. And it's not racist, it's the truth, because you don't want to hear the truth. Now that's the blues.
Yes,
now that
indeed.
gives me the blues.
Mm. And it sure is. So now, you did a field recording not so long ago.
That's correct. That was Blues by Blood.
There's so much to talk about with this, because I want to discuss your music and the songs, but I'm intrigued in present day doing field recordings. How did this happen? How did this project come about?
Well, actually, my man, the project didn't come about. That's the way the blues is done.
Mm.
If you're going to do the blues right. You want to go to the studio and you want to record blues. No, you record the blues at your house and you do it from there. Whatever other technology you got to use to make it happen, do it. But if you want to record the blues, record it at home, and it'll sound like the blues if you have the blues in your house.
Mm. Mm. I dig it.
And that's the truth, bro. Now, that's the truth, period. There was never a really good blues recording, unless you go to the Muddy Waters when it get on up. But back in the 20s and all of that, oh, man, you can't beat the old 78 record sound. You can't beat that sound because it was recorded at home.
Right. Right. So you heard the actual person, not the decorations.
You heard the actual person. You didn't have nothing to make him sound a different way. And see, that's a problem that I have with the blues. You get different people, they'll say they're bluesmen, and they get up there and they change their voice and they try to sound like someone they're not. And I mean, if you're going to play the blues, play the blues if that's who you are. Sound like who you are.
Mm.
Sound like who you are. Don't try to sound like nobody else.
Right.
But, the blues is what you do. The blues ain't you trying to be somebody else.
That's just the bottom line.
That's just the bottom line, my man. I mean, a lot of people don't want to accept that, but, hey, man, nobody wants to hear the truth, brother.
No.
Nobody wants to hear the truth. The truth hurts people's feelings. Believe that.
Well, I have to. That's probably why it's almost taboo when it comes to black folk doing the blues, because it's just so truthful. Not that white artists or Asian or anybody else doing it is not attempting to be truthful to who they are, but it's a different kind of truth, a truth that for the most part, America doesn't want to acknowledge.
But the problem with the young black America, I would say starting from, I would say the 60s, late 60s. I think it started to be a big problem because people started to look back to where the blues come from. They started to look back on the bad side of the blues. Only thing they know that they people was being mistreated, and all they heard them sing was them old blues songs. But what they didn't know, those blues songs that they were singing, that's what carried them through. They were singing about their lives. They were singing about how they felt. And that's the reason they would say, well, I wouldn't let him white man do me like that. But see, he had his blues. He would go home and he would make him a song about the blues.
That's right.
You know, he got the blues. He'll go home and make him a good hit record. And then here come Alex Lomax with his recorder and a couple of $100 or maybe 50. And, you know, he don't know no better. Only thing he knows, I got to get out here. I gonna leave here. That's all he knows.
Wow.
Because that's the way he's being treated. But now the same songs that the man was telling him, I don't want to hear you singing that damn song no more. His great-grandchildren loves that shit. I don't know if it's a curse or not.
Wow. Wow.
See, that's the blues. See, I don't know if you're being cursed by the blues. That's the reason you love it so much. Because, I mean, 90% of my friends is white, and they all know I'm not racist, but I'll tell your ass the truth. That's what they know about me. See, the blues is something else. The blues is something that back in the 20s, a white man trying to play the blues, his daddy would put him out and disown him.
Right.
Because he's singing our music, and he's hanging out with us.
Right.
But now, you can't help yourself.
So, wait.
You know? Now, see, we talking about the blues. This ain't no racial show. We talking about the blues. We talking about people getting the blues.
Well, but see, this is the problem I have. The reality of the situation is there's no way you could talk about the blues without talking about race, because it go hand in hand.
It go hands in hand. That's where it comes from. That's where the best blues song comes from, I guarantee you. Just like Muddy Waters, when Alex Lomax met that man, hey, man, listen at his first recording. He sung that song because of the way he lived.
Yeah. But that's the truth. That's the truth. And John Wesley Work had a lot to do with that as well. That's the plantation recordings. That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
You know, so, hey, man, but, you know, the blues is the blues. It's a lot of people say, oh, Blind Willie plays the blues. Let me tell you something, brother. A lot of people are in denial. Blind Willie was a folk singer. Blind Willie wasn't a bluesman. He was a folk singer, but he ran across Curly Weaver, Buddy Moss, and the rest of the gang, and he did play blues with them. But originally, Blind Willie was a folk singer. Yes, that's what he was, a folk singer. And a lot of people, he's blues. No, he's a folk singer.
So you
period.
You separate folk and the blues? Because I kind of think folk music is the songs of the oppressed, like the blues.
No. See, no. That's it's a formula of the blues. It's not the blues. Folk music is not the blues. It's a formula of the blues.
Okay.
So, you know, like Blind Willie, I would say in the early 20s, he didn't play for black people. No, I guarantee you he didn't, because back in the 20s, you singing like that around a bunch of black folk, man, you try to sound like a white man. We don't want to hear that shit. So that's how I know that he didn't play a lot for a lot of black audience. Until the later years, he started to hanging out with blues guys. And that's when he started playing with blues musicians. And a lot of people don't know that, but hey, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's right. It's the truth.
It's the truth. and nobody wants to hear the truth, brother. Nobody wants to hear it.
So what made you decide to call the album Field Recordings? Because I think that's so vintage. It's so real to the blues.
That's exactly what it was. I couldn't call it nothing but what it was. I mean, I can't call Coca-Cola John Henry drank. I got to call it what it is.
No, I dig it. So let's talk about the face of the blues right now, because there's a lot of descendants of blues. You know, a lot of black folk playing blues, but the face of the blues isn't black folk. I interviewed Jimmy Duck Holmes about a month ago, and he was telling me a story. He was really upset, and he had to address some things because he was at a blues festival, and all the original bluesmen who was still alive that was older than him was playing on the floor. You know, they couldn't get on the stage, and all the white musicians was on the stage. How did that happen?
How did that happen? Well, that's the way it's been happening, brother. Ain't nothing changed, brother. Trust me, man. Listen to me closely, America. Ain't nothing changed, man. People haven't changed. They just have another way of doing it. That's all. It's just another way of doing it, man. Because, I mean, I hear that from a lot of musicians. Man, we can't get a gig. No, because, I mean, you have these people, they open up a blues club and don't then play there. They're just a blues club, but they don't never have black people in there playing. But you got a blues club, and every time I come, you got the white boys playing rockabilly. They wired on down near rock and roll. They ain't playing no goddamn blues. They playing rockabilly.
And you see,
and hold on, America. It is personal. It is personal. It's very personal.
And it is, because there's nothing wrong with rockabilly. And I appreciate any culture that represents and celebrates and preserves their heritage. It just seems like when it comes to ours, it just...
They study our culture. I don't know if it's a curse, or I don't know if it's their great-great-granddaddy blood. I don't know which one it is, but it's like, hey, man, barbecue comes from black man. But every damn barbecue you go to, goddamn, hey, hey, brother, it is what it is, man. But, you know, you can't be blind to the fact, and a lot of people are afraid to speak the truth. And see, number one, when I was coming up, a white boy coming to my house to play the blues, he must be out of his goddamn mind.
That was unheard of?
That was unheard of. I ain't never seen no white boy in my house playing no goddamn guitar.
Wow.
Never. And nobody else's house I went to. Never. See, this that new shit come along in the 60s that Muddy Waters and the rest of the bluesmen fucked up.
Wow.
I'm going to tell America just like, excuse my language, I'm sorry, you guys, but that's the way I feel. That's what happened when Muddy Waters and all the rest of them come along and started to let the students of the blues sit in with them. Because in the beginning, couldn't a white boy go nowhere and sit in with nobody before Muddy Waters come along, man. No. It was unheard of. It was unheard of. I've never went to a juke joint seen a white boy playing in it.
Wow.
Because he didn't come there. It wasn't that he wasn't allowed there. He could come, but he wasn't going to play.
Right.
You can listen, but you ain't going to play shit here.
Wow.
And that's the way it was. Because we was playing the blues, and number one, you ain't got timing, you ain't got no rhythm, you just got good notes and chords. It ain't nothing personal, it's the truth. When it comes to some white guys don't have no time and no rhythm, no nothing, but they play really, 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 really good notes and chords. See,
Right.
that's the difference. That's the difference. When you say you play in the blues is a feeling. It has a certain sound. You walk into a place and they play in the blues, it's going to knock hell out you when you walk through the door. Only thing you want to do is dance and drink all goddamn night long. But now you go to a blues club, you say, God damn, what the fuck is this? Hey, America. Hey, America. It is what it is. Hey, I just try to speak how I feel, and I try to speak the truth.
No, I
And
dig
that is
it.
the truth.
I dig it. What now? In your younger years coming up, did you ever meet Barbecue Bob or any of these guys?
No, that was before I was born.
Okay.
But no, I never met none of those guys. But my mother knew. Well, she was in the vicinity where Barbecue Bob grew up. She grew up in Warner Grove, and so did Barbecue Bob.
Okay.
But that was later years.
Right. Wow, because they were early. They were early on. Wow.
Yeah, and she come along later. So by that time, Savannah and all those had taught Barbecue Bob. I guess that was in their younger years because those guys was really young when they started playing. I mean, I think Barbecue Bob died at the age of, 29?
Right.
So if he's 29 and he had did all those recordings before he died, so that means he was really young.
Right. Wow.
So that's the blues, brother. So, hey, America, the blues is great. The blues is great. Respect the blues.
So,
the blues come from a long ways.
well, I have to ask you this. I kind of have an idea how you feel about this based on our conversation, and I'm sure we feel the same way. But I have to ask this for the audience to get an understanding of why we feel the way we do, and what we're not being divisive, but we're trying to show a point.
I don't think we could feel no other way. I really don't, but the thing is, I want everybody to enjoy the blues. I don't care what color, what culture you are. We all are the same people. If I drop dead right now, hey, I could use your damn heart. It'll save my life.
Yeah.
So I love you. I love all people because we are the same. We come from one. God made one race. That's the human race.
Yeah.
But we grow up and we go crazy, started not taking stuff for what it's really worth. And that's a problem with the blues.
Well, there's another problem with
nobody owns the blues. Don't nobody own the blues, man. The blues is a culture thing, man. That's where it comes from. The blues come from our people sweating and not being able to say what they want to say. And hey, man. Hey, brother, we lived on this man's place. He was a preacher. He wanted us to work in the field, and my mama was like this. He said, look at here. If y'all want to go work in that field, y'all can go. We said, no, we ain't going because he don't want to pay right. A few days later, he came told my mama, say, tell your boys they going to have to find somewhere else to hang their hat.
Wow.
So my mama told him, said, we all going to find somewhere to hang our hat. And that's what we did. But see, people have to understand one thing. You're going to die one day, and you have to give an account of what you did was wrong. And you know what's right and what's wrong. See, that's the thing that bothers me. Every human being knows right from wrong, but you just want to do what you want to do. You're used to taking what not belongs to you. Hey, America! Am I telling the truth, America?
No, you're telling the truth. So now,
the truth is the truth.
So, what about these people that are capitalizing off our culture. You know, you have some guys that went and took pictures of and recorded some people and held on to it until they died, and then they put it out. Then you have other guys who went around trying to get photographs of these people. You know, how do we deal with this?
Let me tell you something, brother. Sometimes the bloodline cannot be helped. Trust me, man. A pit bull bloodline known for one thing. That's to tear your ass up. A racehorse thoroughbred bloodline known for one thing, winning races. And some people blood known for one thing, taking something from a nigga. See, the blood can't be helped, brother. But you still have to love people, man. But some folk can't help themselves. That's in people blood. Period. A lot of people wonder, why the hell did I do that? It's in your blood. You can't help it. Because everybody, it's just like you. You just like somebody in your family down the line. You just like one of your uncles, your granddad. You like somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the way it is in all cultures. You just like somebody in that bloodline, see. And some bloodline wasn't good in the 20s and 30s and back in those days. So that's, you know, and you saying why they capitalized? They've been capitalizing. Hell, Muddy Waters didn't make no damn money till the people start telling him he was getting gypped.
Wow. Yeah. It's the truth.
B.B. King, he made money because he knew he wasn't going to get gypped.
Right.
Ray Charles made money because he knew he wasn't going to get gypped. See, that's when you start to make your money, when you know, hey, that ain't going to happen to me. I don't need your help. See, I don't sharecrop. I don't need help.
No,
see,
I dig it.
That's the reason, you know, man, it's so many black guys that's really good blues musicians, but they can't get a gig. They can't get a gig, brother, because they done changed the blues. They trying to change the blues to something else. The blues is, I don't give a damn how much you get up there and make it good touch screen. The blues only sounds a certain way. Period. And me, myself, personally, if I get up there and try to mark Elvis Presley, I think I'm making a fool out of myself. I feel stupid. How do I look getting up there trying to act like Johnny Cash?
Right. And
how do I get up there trying to look like Hank Williams Jr.?
Wow. And I'm hearing that a lot of black musicians, to be able to make money in the blues industry, has to begin to imitate a white artist who's already imitating a black artist.
If only thing black people got to do is just take the goddamn blues back. All they got to do is start back playing the blues like the blues supposed to be played, and that'll knock every other culture off the block. Because the blues only going to sound a certain way.
I'm saying, good folk, when you come to Jack Dapper Blues, you're going to learn them blues. That was part one of my, I kind of would like to say, historic interview with Mr. Tony Bryant.